A notorious bounty hunter of the Wild West, armed with a fully loaded gun, faces off against a wandering drifter with nothing but his bare hands. Who will die? What makes this even crazier is that this drifter is actually a Shaolin monk, heavily wanted by the authorities. To understand why this life-or-death battle takes place at a remote ranch, we need to turn back time to a few days earlier, when Caine accidentally wandered into this land. While searching for his long-lost brother, Caine came across a house that had been destroyed and burned to the ground. Nearby, he discovered the body of a man who had been killed by arrow shot by Native Americans. As Caine observed the scene, a gun barrel nearby was suddenly aimed directly at him. Realizing he was being watched, Caine immediately took cover before the gunshot rang out. The shooter continued searching for his target. Suddenly, Caine appeared from behind, disarmed the attacker, and prepared to teach them a lesson. But to his surprise, the person standing before him was just a young boy. After talking to him, Caine learned that the boy's name was Peter. His family had been attacked unexpectedly by Native Americans. They killed his father and kidnapped his mother. Peter survived only because he managed to run away in time. Looking at Peter, Caine saw a reflection of his younger self. Both of them had lost their parents at a very young age. However, Peter was more fortunate. He still had an aunt who was currently living in Perryville. Peter planned to go there in hopes of finding shelter and support. Seeing that Peter was too young to travel alone, Caine decided to accompany him to Perryville. The two traveled together across long stretches of road. A few days later, they finally arrived in Perryville. Once there, Caine offered to help Peter find information about his aunt, but Peter said he could manage on his own and didn't want to trouble Caine any further. So the two decided to part ways there. Peter walked into the town's post office to ask for directions to his aunt's house. As he left, the camera revealed a wanted poster hanging on the wall, and the man on that poster was none other than Caine. For viewers who don't know why Caine is wanted, he became a fugitive after accidentally killing the nephew of the Emperor of China. We'll cover that part of the story in greater detail in a future video. Returning to the story, Peter eventually found his aunt's house. Unfortunately, the reunion was far from pleasant. Peter's aunt was a poor woman living with her husband and 2 sons. Her husband was an alcoholic and a compulsive gambler. The moment he learned Peter's father was dead, he immediately asked where his money and gold were. Peter remained silent because he truly had no idea. One of the sons immediately spoke up. He claimed that Caine must have taken the money and gold because he saw Peter entering town with him. Not long after, the 3 men dragged Peter along to find Caine and settle the score. At that moment, Caine was tending to a horse at the town stable. A woman named Amy Allender approached him and offered him work at a ranch. She had heard that he was also looking for a job. Just then, the 3 large men arrived. They falsely accused Caine of stealing and hiding Peter's father's money and gold. Peter tried desperately to stop them, but it was useless. Not only did they look down on Caine, but they also intended to use force to make him talk. But they picked on the wrong man.
You wish to stay with these people?
No.
Is there room at your ranch for the boy?
Yes.
Over the next few days, thanks to Caine's hard work, Amy's ranch gradually became well-maintained and properly cared for. This caused Amy to slowly develop feelings of admiration for Caine. As time passed, a subtle bond began to form between the two. Meanwhile, the 3 men still refused to accept their defeat. They contacted a bounty hunter named Raven. In exchange for information about Caine's wanted status, they wanted half of the reward money. After observing Caine from a distance for several days, Raven finally revealed himself. He threatened that if Caine tried to run, he would burn the ranch to the ground. Amy and Peter would not be spared either. Amy tried to stop Caine from confronting Raven. She was willing to accept the danger, even though that danger had come because of Caine. But for a man of discipline like Caine, he could not allow that to happen. With unwavering determination and a fearless heart, Caine decided to go up the mountain to face Raven. At first, Caine tried to convince Raven with words, but greed and ambition had clouded Raven's judgment. In the end, Caine was forced to use kung fu. Raven used guns and shackles to restrain Caine's arms and legs, but he made one fatal mistake. He allowed Caine to get too close. After defeating Raven, Caine understood that peace in this place had come to an end. He decided to leave Amy and Peter behind. Once again, Caine returned to the life of a wanderer. He walked away to protect the people he loved. What do you think about Caine's philosophy of overcoming strength with softness? Leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss part 2.